as separate from marijuana, which remains illegal in Wisconsin. With Republicans divided, it's not yet clear which bill, if either, will pass before the legislative session ends.
Hermantown Middle School has one of just 7 all-girls robotics teams in the state, and in their first year, they're already one of the best. Northern News Now's Blake Hornstein shares how the STEM sisters are making a mark for themselves.
Yes, Heath Wedger, that is our robot's name.
Heath Wedger, as they call it, is just a glimpse into the imagination and talent of the STEM sisters.
What we noticed is that these girls were looking for a challenge, but we're shying away from some of the more challenging tasks because of the number of boys that were involved in the team.
The team was created to encourage girls to join the club, and Kat Guillen sees that value as a product engineer herself at Amsoil. Guillen volunteers her time as their head coach. Her job is to navigate the team throughout the season.
To see the ideas that they had in the very beginning and then see them to come to fruition. Everyone learns about it at the exact same time.
This year, the challenge is robot basketball.
A few of the things that we absolutely need on our robot, which came down to shooting mechanism, some way to get artifacts to the shooting mechanism, and a good way to push the artifacts around.
Here's how it works. There's one who helps gather the balls, and another grabs the sticks. We turn. Wait, I'm gonna break this thing. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, go. Well, I may never make it to state. These girls are ready to compete with their winner.
You know, not a lot of people have the opportunity to, and we did, and we took it.
In Hermantown, Blake Hornstein, Northern News Now.
And they're going to compete in the Minnesota State Tournament this weekend in Hermantown against all robotics teams, both boys and girls.